Dennis, this January 6th stuff has gotten so transparent, at least to me. This is clearly just an effort for Democrats to weaponize the government against their political opponents. Am I missing something?
I don't think you're missing anything at all. Look, that's their last best hope to try to hang on to the majority in 2022. If we want to go to the source of what's going on here, let's go to Portland, let's go to Seattle, let's go to Minneapolis, let's go everywhere else where these rioters were taking over our local governments, and the local governments were letting them do that. You know, January 6th was a travesty, and as a former member of Congress, I'm absolutely appalled that it even occurred. But we have to remove the politics if we're ever going to find out what really happened, how it happened, why did the police stand down, why weren't there reinforcements? And that's not happening right now, and it won't happen under the circumstances that Nancy Pelosi is trying to impose.
Dennis, I can't tell you how many emails I get from people who think the Federal Bureau of Investigation is now the political arm of the Democratic Party, and frankly, I've seen nothing to tell me that's untrue. Now, that's a dangerous situation for the United States of America if the federal police are now just Democrats in disguise. What do we do about this?
It frightens me too if there's any truth to that, Jesse. It really, really, really does, because that's taking us over the edge that we don't need to be when our law enforcement becomes politicized and political in their in the execution of their duties. You know, I can only hope, and I do hope, that that's not the case. We've got to have strong investigations. You know, the Oversight and Government Reform Committee should be looking into this, although it's under the tutelage of the Democrats. 2022 may be the difference. We win the majority. We start the investigations. You know, under the Trump administration, we were looking into the Department of Justice. We were looking into the FBI, and we were seeing things that were making us very concerned about independent agencies that were not being independent. I wouldn't rule it out. I just don't want to think that way, but we have to be prepared, and we have to be able to get the authority by getting the majority to start the investigations into the FBI and the Department of Justice.
Agreed. If we get that authority and we do investigate and we do find that it's bad, is Congress capable of reforming it, or does this have to come from a president? Is a president capable? I mean, Donald Trump was there for 4 years and none of it got reformed. That idiot Christopher Wray still running the FBI. Do we have the authority to do it, or are these people just there forever?
Jesse, the Congress has the ultimate authority. But understand, when I was in Congress for 8 years, we were the majority. We had a 25-vote majority, and we couldn't pass anything. The Democrats have a 5-vote majority, and they're passing everything. We've got to be convicted on our principles and say, we're going to get this done. Yes, Congress can get it done. But Congress has got to take the initiative.
Why don't we pass it? What is the holdup? Is it leadership? Is it the rank and file? What is it?
Well, right now it's because Nancy Pelosi's in charge. That's why nothing's going to happen. But if you assume that the Republicans take control in 2022, which I firmly believe they will, then leadership has to take the initiative. They've got to corral their 218 votes to pass this and then get it passed in the Senate. Look, this has to be a major issue. We can't have law enforcement, at the federal level especially, intimidating our lives. I mean, already we're going to defund the police on the local level. That's failing miserably, by the way, for the Democrats. A nationalized police force is not going to be good for this country. And Congress needs to step up to the plate and take the initiative and restrain that.
Well, it's funny you brought up defund the police, because I watched the President of the United States of America last night, and he had this to say.
Actually, crime is down. Gun violence and murder rates are up. Guns. I'm the only guy that ever got passed legislation when I was a senator to make sure we eliminated assault weapons. The idea you need a weapon that can have the ability to fire 20, 30, 40, 50, 120 shots from that weapon, whether it's a 9mm pistol or whether it's a rifle, is ridiculous.
Well, I have several 9mm that I can shoot 120 shots from. He's definitely very educated on this. But Dennis, crime is down. How can you get away with that as President of the United States? I understand that people are partisan, left or right. That's a blatant lie.
It flies in the face of the facts. Just last weekend in Chicago. Chicago, by the way, which has some of the most restrictive gun laws in this country, had 54 shootings and 8 homicides. Just last weekend. What are we going to do there? Pass more laws? It's the enforcement of the laws that has to take place. And who's going to enforce the laws? Our law enforcement and our prosecutors, not always giving prosecutorial discretion to not prosecute. I mean, we are a nation of laws. We have to uphold those laws. We have to enforce those laws. And more laws aren't going to make us any safer from gun violence. Education, better mental health laws, people who have the ability, like all of us, to practice personal responsibility. These are issues that we've got to take on, but we have to be advocates for the right reasons, not just to say we want more laws.
I am a fan of cities. Obviously, I'm more of a country guy. I grew up in Montana, but I love cities too. I'm not one of these Republicans who hates the city. I love New York City. I love Chicago. I love these places. I see these cities going downhill fast, and I don't have any indication in front of me they're going to reverse course. And I think that's bad for the country if American cities are going to become open sewers.
Couldn't agree more. I'm from a small town, a medium-sized town here in Florida, in between Tampa and Orlando. Lovely place. Our local police department has 90 applicants from the New York City Police Department wanting to come here. Why? Because they want to get out of the big cities. They're not getting the support. They're not getting the respect, and they're putting their lives on the line. Come on. You know, this is a losing issue for the Democrats in the long run. It's a very losing issue for the United States in the long run. We've got to support law enforcement. We've got to support those who want to make sure they take care of themselves and are law-abiding citizens. It's part of the way we got to be where we are as a great nation. I'm very concerned about this politicizing of law enforcement. I'm very concerned about a national effort by law enforcement to become political. And we've got to work hard against that.